Welcome to the Purple Warriors podcast. I'm Ali Sugars, your host, and thank you so much for joining me. This podcast is about raising awareness for domestic abuse by allowing survivors to share their own stories and journeys to recovery. It's also about assisting fellow survivors to give you practical yet powerful information that will help you on the road to your recovery. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome everybody to our very first episode of the Purple Warriors podcast for 2020 and for the new decade, which I am very excited about. And today, our very first guest for the year is Carrie Taylor from Health for Keeps. Now, Carrie is a physiotherapist who works holistically with clients to build strength in physical, mental and emotional areas. So welcome today, Carrie.
Hi, Ali. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here.
And we are very excited to have you. Trust me. Welcome to the new decade.
Yay.
So, Carrie, firstly, just tell us a little bit more about what you do. And there's so much more to what you do than just physiotherapy. And maybe share a little bit about your story of how you got into doing what you do with us.
Well, as many of your listeners will probably know, physiotherapy is a profession that's aimed at helping people to overcome mainly physical limitations or pain problems to help them live a happier, healthier, more fulfilled life. Now, some newer areas that have come into the profession over time is also we're finding physios in the workplace too. And in the workplace, it's not just a case of how to lift safely. This is what people think of traditionally as, manual handling. How do I lift that box safely? But it's also about workplace culture, about managing people's stress and how that impacts on them physically too. And this is the area that I'm particularly interested in. I've been helping quite a lot of clients lately get back into the work arena. And it's not just as simple as, well, you've had a back injury, let's get your back strong. It's putting everything around it and making sure that that whole person is ready and able and completely confident to go back into the workplace again. So how did I get into this? So I've been a physio now for 11 and a half years. Wow, time flies. So about 15 years ago, I was this fairly new mum. I had a 4.5-year-old and an 18-month-old, and I was starting my physiotherapy training. And, I was there, I was like, I'm going to change the world. I'm so excited, all these opportunities. And you do your training and you come out of it and you're like, I can do this, I can do that, and I can do that. And then you actually realise there's so much more than just the physical body. So fast forward really to about 5 years ago, and I'd been in private practice here in Australia for a couple of years and fancied a little bit of a change. So I got into the aged care retirement home world, and that was wonderful in as much as it was lovely to help people extend their capabilities in their later years. But what really drove me there was that the environment, although it was a loving environment for the staff and the people working in there, it was really hard yakka. They were very pushed physically. It's a very heavy load. It's a very heavy emotional load as well. Dealing with people who are not the people that they used to be as young, fit, healthy things, and coming to terms with those limitations. And the carers themselves, under the pump, busy, lots of heavy stuff, like I said, lots of emotional stuff, and they didn't really take care of themselves particularly well because they wanted to do a great job for their clients, but they always were putting other people first, not putting themselves first. So it started things going on in my mind about how could their lives be better in helping them to do what they love to do, which was look after people. And really it hit home to me about a year ago when we lost a really close family member, and this particular person had again been a wonderful, caring mum, sister, work colleague, but she'd never looked after herself. She had always looked after other people, and she didn't take care of her personal well-being, so that she ended up really, when she gave up work and she stopped looking after other people, she didn't have that drive and that energy to look after herself, really. And it made me really think about what could we do better to help people care for themselves, especially those people in caring roles.
That's interesting because, as you know, a lot of listeners in this podcast, are carers, as in like single parents. So that's interesting that you say that because, it is, and I say this all the time to our listeners, is you have to look after yourself first before you can care for others. And as you said, you've come into this as a young mum. So I'm sure you know where I'm going with that. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah. And I was say that is a typical problem of carers in all different ages of the spectrum. So carers for the elderly, carers for children, carers in a professional environment, and if they don't look after themselves, it all falls apart. But because they're so time poor and so externally focused, they don't always see how they can look after themselves better. And certainly, that's so important.
So very true. Well, that's really good. Thank you, Carrie, for that introduction. And so what I didn't introduce at the beginning was what we're going to talk about today. So the topic that we're going to discuss, which I think is a really cool topic, is resolution revolution. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Good. So we're going to talk all about changing our goals into habits. So, like as we know, at the beginning of each year, we set our resolutions. So tell us a little bit more about what resolution revolution is all about.
Certainly. Well, if you set a resolution, the chances are that only 8% of people who set a resolution will ever actually achieve it.
Yeah, that would be me.
That means 22% don't actually do it. So, that's massive. But, everything that comes around the new year, this time of year, is like, resolution. But actually, people can't sustain it. And actually, I've found some really interesting information from Strava, the people that do a lot of the exercise and fitness and health tracking. They reckon the day that people fall off the wagon is, I was thinking, it'll be kind of the end of the month, end of January. They actually reckon it's January the 12th.
That sounds about right. That sounds like me. I know that in previous years, actually, when I've decided that I was going to eat healthy or lose weight or had to exercise, I swear it gets to about the second week and it just all falls apart. So I would totally agree with that.
So I actually reckon that January is a rubbish time to make a resolution, particularly here in Australia where we are, a lot of families are on school holidays, a lot of businesses and work shuts down, and it puts us all out of routine. So when we think that we have actually more time than we do because we're like, I can set up this new thing, I can eat healthy and I can exercise more and I can do my spiritual well-being as well and meditate and do all this fulfilling stuff, which is all fantastic, but actually it's really quite unrealistic because we're playing with time that we don't normally have. And this is where resolution revolution comes in, is that I actually recommend people don't start anything new when they have lots of time, because it tends to make you pretty unrealistic because you always overcommit. So I actually ask everyone to start when they're busy, when they're under the pump, and make it really small, but make a very specific habit. So rather than say, I'm going to get healthy, or I'm going to eat healthy, or I'm going to exercise more, to be specific is that I'm going to exercise for 2 minutes a day. And people will go, that's a bit rubbish. 2 minutes a day, what are you going to achieve? But from the 2 minutes a day and setting up that habit, you can actually expand it, and you're way more likely to succeed. And you're way more likely to be down on yourself too, because if you miss 2 minutes, you're like, I only missed 2 minutes today. That's okay. It makes it easier to start again when you fall off the wagon, as we all do. We all have things that come up, or you have a day where every crazy thing that possibly can happen will happen, and you don't do what you plan to do. But if you've got that awareness of don't start things when you've got too much time, don't make it too big, keep it nice and simple, you make it actually way more achievable. So you develop that awareness of what your goal is. So being really specific, making, the whole regular SMART thing, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time limited. Those SMART goals, loads of people will know about those, but actually making it easy enough to fit in to your regular routine, because that's where you're going to actually have the biggest wins.
All right, well, that's interesting. So when would, obviously, as you say, most people take holidays in January. So when would you maybe suggest, because obviously we're almost reaching that 12-day period now, and obviously a lot of people have got time off. So when would you maybe suggest that we kind of re-look at our goals and start from?
Yeah, so you can actually start thinking about what you want to achieve a bit before you want to start it. So actually having the planning set up in advance is really helpful. So this is where you can use your extra time. So, if you're on holidays at the moment, take a few minutes a day, and don't be too worried about making it too perfect to begin with. So, grab a back of an envelope, bit of scrap paper, and you can start with that big general thing. So I want to exercise more. All right, so then you start to kind of narrow it down. Well, what is more? So you need to work out the baseline of where you are at the moment. So do a little audit of what you already do, because unless you know where you are at the moment, you can't say more of anything, because it's just a bit of a random concept. So start with a little audit of where you are. So if you're a person that doesn't do very much, your exercise level might be, getting up in the morning, walking to the kitchen, making a coffee, and walking back to bed. That could be that's your baseline. But once you know that, then you've got something to work on. So maybe set that up first before you're ready to start. Then what you need to do is look at your regular routine. So for when you're back to normal, whatever normal is. So then work out when you might have 2 minutes, and this is where I say 2 minutes is a perfect time to get started, because pretty much everybody can find 2 minutes. Now, if it's exercising, that doesn't mean you've got to spend the first 2 minutes lacing up your trainers, getting out the door, and then running back in again. You could actually make it something really simple, like I'm going to do 10 squats while I'm in the shower. So you use a time where you do something else that's routine. So it makes it nice and easy. So you don't have to carve out lots of extra specific equipment or time or space to do it. And you start really, really small.
That's excellent. And I can see that when you say, suggest you do some exercises, squats in the shower or whatever, you would actually kind of develop that habit over time, because you'd start to associate shower with doing squats. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's it. And if you find it hard to begin with, the good old classic Post-it note is a fabulous reminder. It's not too permanent that you're going to ruin your shower screen or your bathroom tiles, but stick a little reminder up there so you make your environment really conducive to it as well. So you've got that little environmental reminder that says, do this now. So it just gives you that trigger before you've actually formed the habit, because the research says it can take anything from 2 weeks to 127 days to actually make something into a habit. So everybody's really different. So you don't know how long it's going to take you to make it that automatic, get in the shower, I'm going to do my squats, or I'm going to stand at the bathroom sink and brush my teeth, which is my other habit, which, few of us ever think about actually brushing our teeth. We just walk in the bathroom, we pick up the brush and we do it. Do some balancing exercises while you're brushing your teeth, that you actually have that all set up. So it makes it really easy. So you've got a very simple thing to do. You don't have a lot of time to carve out. You've got some prompts in your environment, and like brushing your teeth, you have your toothbrush on the basin so that it's really easy and it's all set up ready to go. So you can start to build the little habit formula around what you do, and then you're much more likely to achieve it. And we all do things as well, like we all, I don't know, I'm probably guilty of this. You go to bed and you go, you wake up next morning, you're like, no, my mouth's a bit, I forgot to clean my teeth last night. So we all do these kind of things where we don't do the habit for whatever reason, we've forgotten. But it's no big drama to say that you've fallen off. You just get back on. It's not hard because you've made everything else around it really easy.
That is so important too, because I know that for me, especially like you say that you're saying to keep everything quite small, I know that when I have fallen off my resolution wheel, whatever you want to call it, quite early, you automatically go to mentally, because I've already failed, but like you say, when you kind of bring it down to something really small, it's not that much, you don't see it as much of a failure. It's kind of like, oh, that's okay, it's only 2 minutes. So
yeah. I get you. It's the fact that it's because you've made it quite nice and small. If you miss it once, it's not like I've missed half an hour workout, I'm never going to get that half an hour back again. If it's a short period, you can then maybe put it in at a different time. So you just go, I forgot to do them in the shower this morning. Okay, well, maybe before I get in the car to go off to work, I'll just do 10 in the garage, so it's not so hard to do. And it means that you're also setting your own beliefs up really strongly, in that failure to do it once doesn't mean you have to end the whole thing. So yes. That's really important. And that's also really important for mental well-being as well, because if you're under stress and that nasty little voice is on your shoulder, you didn't do it, you're a bad person, blah, 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 blah. You can say to that voice, go, it's no big deal. I'm human. I do it another time. It's easy. And even if you don't do it until the whole next day and you get back into the routine. So what?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's probably one of the most important points for our particular listeners to this podcast, is that, if you do forget to do something, you are not a failure. It's just a matter of, even if you need to trying something different. I suppose people might find that, a certain time of day they're trying to put that habit in and it might not necessarily fit, but it's okay to change it, isn't it? You don't have to set it up and strictly do it the way you've said right from the start. Change is okay.
Yeah. And having that sort of flexibility in your behaviour allows you to actually make much more of a deep connection with yourself. So you've got a connection with the value that your habit is bringing to you, but also what it's meaning for you and how important it is. So you can go, no, it's important enough that I can actually release a bit on this and go, no, that's all right. I'll just shift it a little bit. That's okay.
I love that, Carrie. That is really, really important information. You've actually made me really want to go away now and think about my resolutions again, because I know I've already set them for the year. And, as I said, we are 10 days into the new year now. And yes, I can't say that I've done perfectly, but that's okay.
If you haven't set the resolution that has the most meaning for you and the deep connection with you as well, then you're less likely to be committed to doing it when it is a bit tougher. So, have that awareness, because that connection to you leads you to sort of greater dedication, because that overall, so say it's for you to eat more vegetables. So say you were not very good at eating your veggies, you say, right, I need to eat an extra portion of veggies a day. Then, but that it's really important to you for your health and for your family and your overall well-being and the well-being of the planet, that we eat more vegetables, that's so important for you. That's okay. We're going to just refocus it, and that you don't have to make it broccoli if you hate broccoli. You can make it something you prefer instead, peas or carrots or...
Thanks for that. That's a relief, because broccoli is not my favourite. Just not chocolate, right?
It's still quite healthy as long as you don't have too much of it. There's lots of fantastic antioxidants and wonderful things that light your brain up with the happy chemicals. So I never say to my clients either, that the habits is about abandoning things that you really enjoy as well. I think that's really important. You shouldn't make your habits really punishing, because there are a few people that enjoy pain, but I don't know lots of them. And they're particularly, unusual people perhaps, but most people enjoy doing enjoyable things, so you need to make your habit is something, like I said, because it's got a deep connection to it, leads to dedication, but it's also, should be fun, because that also helps encourages you to keep going as well.
That's actually a really, really good point. So maybe an example I would use for myself is like, I know that I need to exercise more, but I mean, really, I don't like exercising to the point where I feel sick. So that it kind of emphasizes to me that it's okay to maybe go for a 5-minute walk here and there throughout the day, or a 5-minute session on the exercise bike, rather than doing a straight 30 minutes where I'm actually going to feel sick doing it. And like you say, it's going to build the habit and it's going to help me reach that goal and feel a lot better. So that what you are saying is actually exciting me, and I hope it's exciting others listening to this as well, that, it is possible to reach those resolutions in an easier manner and in a way that's going to make it a goal, so not only are you reaching your...
I think you're saying you're not only just trying to reach a goal, you're also trying to empower yourself with that actually you're going to make it a nice experience, because it doesn't have to be punishment. So I was going to say as well, the other thing that I often recommend to people is to temptation bundle or reward bundle with it. Now, that reward bundling, you have to be a bit careful, because if you're going to do an exercise habit and you're doing 2-minute chunks of exercise, which are still good for you, your reward bundle can't be like a 400-gram bar of dairy milk for your 2 minutes. That the proportions need to be kind of right. But what you could do, say for example you're not so keen on the exercise bike, is reward bundle it with something that you do enjoy. So maybe you've got like a fabulous book on a download on one of the big services, and say, well, when I do my exercise, then I get to put my headphones in and I listen to that fabulous book, because I'm paying off the discomfort of the exercise with something that I really, really want to listen to. And you can bundle it together that way. So that you actually make it a really compelling thing that you want to do, because you've got that nice reward there.
Yeah, and that's right. When you say, something different besides food as well, particularly when you relate it to exercise, because, that's another thing that I have always automatically done, is used food is something, that's maybe not so healthy for me as a reward, where there are so many other things, there are so many other focuses that you can use as a reward rather than just food. I think it's something that people automatically go to, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, food is a fantastic reward, and it, with all of these things, it lights up those centers in the brain. But if you find the other things that you also really like, so it might be even, something as simple as listening to a podcast or a book, or you might have a favorite hand cream that you put on, and you really do it very sort of, mindfully afterwards, that you really enjoy the smell and the feel of it. You're like, that was a good reward to have. Or you also can reward yourself a bit like children do, with star charts and stickers. Who knew, even as adults, we can be motivated by those things? I mean, I am a mad stationery fan. I put stickers on all sorts of things, and I like, I got my sticker today. So you don't have to make it all about something that could be detrimental to your habit. You can do other things that light you up as well.
Absolutely. I love that, and it's okay to go back to your childhood and do things that you loved when you were kids, because let's face it, we're all big kids anyway, aren't we?
And again, childhood's more about fun and playing. And if you can make your habit fun and playful and enjoyable, you're way more likely to do it again.
Oh, that's so true. You've brought up so many good points today. Oh, again, you've made me just so excited to go away and re-look at everything now. And, I feel like I've got some information now where I can actually not give up. I can actually achieve what I want to achieve. So I'm excited, and I hope other people are excited with this information as well. So Carrie, tell us how people might, if they would like to get in touch with you, how they can do so, where they might be able to find you.
Okay, so you can find me on the Facebook social media channel. So just look up Health for Keeps and you should find me there. And I post up regular hints and tips for people on staying healthy, and lots of cute pictures of my pets too. So you'll find those there. You can find me on the website, so on www.healthforkeeps.com.au, and if you put the number 4 in instead of the word for, that will find me as well. And I do run events and workshops through the year, so I'm actually planning a revolution workshop in March of this year, so that people can come along and they can do a 1-day intensive to get their resolution nice and clear, to knock back any of those limiting beliefs where we think, oh, we can't do it, we failed before, it's not going to happen. They can get all of that good stuff in, and we do a bit of relaxation as well, opening up your unconscious mind to the power of your body and how well you can make things. So you can come and find me. So look on Eventbrite, because there will be a workshop up in the southern suburbs of Adelaide. And I may well be also running a Facebook group as well, that people want to come and do an online free resolution course, and we'll do it over 5 or 6 weeks. So any of those, I'm very happy. And on there, you'll have my email as well and contact details. So if anyone wants to chat anytime, or they've got a health issue and they're like, well, I'm not sure if it's for, if Health for Keeps is for me, then please give me a call, because I'm always happy to either go, yeah, I think I can help you, or find you the right person that I can refer you on to. I've got a fantastic health network around this area. So if I don't do it myself, I usually know someone who can.
And that is great information. So thank you. We will make sure that all your links are definitely put up, and we will just make sure that everyone can contact you. So I thank you so much for the very valuable information that you've provided today. You've made me very excited to want to go away and plan my year ahead and achieve my own resolution goals.
That sounds fabulous, Ali. Well, I would like to wish you and all of your podcast listeners a really happy, healthy new year and new decade, and get those resolutions going and do it the revolution way. Don't worry about January. Get on for later in the year and meet those goals.
Love it. So there you've heard it, folks. You have permission to relax and enjoy the remainder of your holidays if you're still on holidays, and we'll set those goals together in the months to come.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you very much, Carrie.
Thank you, Ali.
I hope you enjoyed today's show, and thanks for listening. If you would like to share your story of survival, or you have a topic you would like to hear about on the program, reach out to me via email, welcome@themotivationmama.com, or find me, The Motivation Mama, on Instagram or Facebook. And don't forget, the greatest project that you will ever work on is you. Happy day, beautiful.